Tiege Hanley Simplified Skincare System. Here's how it works. Go to Tiege.com, pick your system, and get handsome. 3 simple steps. Wash, scrub, and moisturize. It's that simple.
Guys, go to Tiege.com and get started today.
To be a therapist, in my opinion, is one of the most humbling things ever.
A platform like BetterHelp is very important because it allows access to affordable mental health care.
Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Money like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Wow, hasn't it? All right, so big ups, man. Big ups to y'all, man. Much love. Thank y'all for being in the stream. Much love to y'all. Much love, much love, much love. All right, what's happening, fam? Appreciate you. We got the roster projection that we'll be talking about today on the stream, man. As well, we'll cover some news about our second-round draft pick, Tyler Shough, has yet to sign with the team. We'll talk about that. And if you guys have any comments or anything below, please feel free. Shout out to you. So big ups to you. Can y'all hear me now? All right. He says, repeat it, says Willie. What's up, Willie? All right. He said, Q, you can't do us like that, bro. You got to repeat what you were saying. But anyway, man, what I was saying is we starting the broadcast. It's been a busy week, so I hope you guys have had a fantastic week. Good start of your weekend. I hope you guys have just been doing a lot of positive and productive things. A lot of stuff been shaking and popping. And in terms of with the Saints, we know it's a quiet period before July hits when we get training camp started. And then that's the precursor to the season just barreling ahead. So you get that camp started in July, late July, then we get into July, then August, then September, then October, and November, and let it start. So it'll be starting soon. So take a deep breath and relax. Before, and that's what the hell I've been doing. I've been because I know I'm getting ready, baby. I'm getting ready for this season. All right, so big ups, man. Jade, now good to see you. What's up, brother? Demetrius is in this thing. Bev, shout out to you. Thank you, son. Appreciate it. All right, King Hardy, how you doing, sir? Big Valley is in this thing as well. Much love. Good to see you, fam. Appreciate you. OG to the third degree. Uptown Stud 2010. Much love, fam. Appreciate you as well. What's that? Leo? Is that Leo? Shout out to Leo as well. Much love. What's up, Demi? Is that no? That's Desi. What's up, Desi? Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the building. OG's in this thing. Always much love to OG. Appreciate you. Jaden adds that Q, the Pelicans had a great draft this week. In my opinion, I love what they did with all three of their picks. Love it. Do you think? He says. Did you think of the draft? What did I think of the draft? Who that to you, my young brother? The draft was good, man. We did the draft special. That's one of my favorite times of the year when the Pelicans roll around. Is the Pelican draft. Always good to do the draft because I'm optimistic of what could happen. I think Joe Dumars was aggressive and bold. A lot of these commentators, the Nick Wrights and the Simmonses of the world, will talking mess about Joe Dumars giving an unprotected pick to get Derek Queen, the big guy from Maryland. They wouldn't have allowed the Pelicans to move 10 spots from 23 to 13 unless they had that pick like that. And he's seen these two guys, Jeremiah Fierce, who we picked at 7, and Queen as impact players right away. That's how Joe Dumars views it, and he's not looking at the future in terms of, hey, what we're gonna do next year. He knows he has enough to win with right now, and I don't have any searing indictment. Well, maybe one little thing, and that's the head coach. I thought that should have been something that should have been changed, like a lot of other stuff, but that's not his call. We know that's Gail Benson, who's the owner, told Joe Dumars to keep that man for at least this year. So he got 1 year left on his contract. Let's see if Willie Green could do it. Me personally, I got my doubts, but can Willie step it up to the next level? Hell, I don't know, man. I've seen 4 years of Willie Green, and he called his team soft last year, and they soft because of him, because he's soft. His philosophy is soft. He don't talk about no aggressiveness, or everything is dialed down and family orientated. You as a team, and nobody cares, and this for the Saints too. Nobody cares if they all cool with each other if they losing. We don't care about that. And I know that sounds tough, don't it? But at the end of the day, if this is your team and you care about the team, you don't care if they cool, if they losing. I don't want cool losers here. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes in the ultra uber competitive pro landscape, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever the hell it is. We don't care if y'all cool. What good is it being cool and you're sitting up there with 21 wins on the 82 game season? What sense does it make? So we don't care about that, man. You get cool if you win together. How about that? And if you fight and you lose close, or you give it your all, you grow together, you galvanize as a team. We know that's how it works. We don't care about no losing. If you sit up here winning 5 games and he sit up there at the press conference or the telling you, hey man, these teams, they love each other, they gonna stick. Yo man, shut up. We don't want to hear that. And you know that. The coaches know, the owners know, the damn players know. If they don't know, then you're in the wrong business. Bottom line, it's a money-driven business, and success is at the top of it. People get fired for not. Sometimes they get fired unjustly, like what happened with Thibodeau, what happened with Malone from the Nuggets, what happened to the guy from the Grizzlies. We know that happens at times, but that ain't happening what's happening down here in New Orleans. I assure you that. But anyway, big ups to the fan. What's up, Charles? Good to see you, fan. Appreciate you as well in the building. Much love. Good to hear you. What's up, Mad Drummer? Big ups to you. What's up, Trey? Shout out to you. Trey says, I really might be Mickey. The way the Pelicans is moving now makes me very proud. I don't think Mickey Loomis have a damn thing to do with it. I don't think he have a damn thing to do with it, to be honest with you. I don't think that's Joe Dumars all the way. All the way. That's Joe Dumars' vision for the team. Troy Weaver, Bryson Graham is gone. He took the Hawks job there. Troy Weaver was a general manager before. He probably the de facto general manager right now. I looked on their website. They didn't have that vacancy filled, but that's Troy Weaver and Joe Dumars working together with Joe Dumars' vision. But on the Saints side of it, as we talk about the black and gold, we going into a season where we are also looking for, it's funny how we look at both of our teams and they both in the same boat, right? You got team, we need to see some success right here. And the Saints have had 4 straight 9 playoff seasons, right? 9 playoff winnings, 9 playoff qualifying seasons, right? And last year was this was the worst season since before Sean Payton took over. The Katrina year, before Sean took over, it was a bad season. 5 wins, a lot of crap, a lot of funk and stank. In comes Kellen. In comes Kellen's philosophy. In comes Kellen's coaches. In comes Kellen's draft picks and acquisitions. to revitalize the Saints. And the Saints now are going into somewhat, is it a rebuild here? Is it so much of a rebuild here this year? I mean, you still got, the team still has, and I've said this, they still have old people on the team that's productive. You still have Tyron for a year. You still got the likes of Cam. You still have the likes of Demario Davis. You got veterans all over the place, older guys like Brandon Cooks. You got Chris Olave, who's a functional player, who's impactful when he's healthy. You have Rashid Shaheed, the same thing. Jawan Johnson, Carl Granderson, young vets like that, that's here. So the team, is it so much of a, you're only young in terms of the quarterback position, which is probably the most important position on the football team. And off the team, the head coach. So you have a rookie head coach for the first time who has some success. He riding that energy from that Philadelphia Super Bowl victory into New Orleans, which is also a positive. We could use that. And then also the fact that you have these young head coach first time, very young quarterbacks, whether it's Tyler Shough or Spencer Rattler, who will champion the team into the season. They're young there. Everywhere else, we'll see. But it's going to be interesting, to kind of span ahead just for a brief second, is how will it look next year in 2026 when Demario's gone, Tyron's gone, Cam's gone, Taysom's gone, Foster's gone. You see what I'm saying? Then could we really sit back and say, oh man, because the Saints got rid of all the old people, all the old guys is going in the wind, and now we really have, a youth movement, so to speak, where a lot of the guys will replace those guys at those positions. So we can kind of really see that then, right? But this year, it's going to be interesting to see how it all kind of moves forward. All right, Charles asks, Q, if you have to replace a QB, it's a rebuild no matter who the team is. You think it's a rebuild if you have to replace the I guess it's some of a tweak. When I think about rebuild, I'm thinking about you kind of tearing it all down and building it back up. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to renovation, If it's a rebuild, that means you ripping the building down, right? Tearing it down and then putting a new structure within its place. I kind of see it using my construction thought process as being a bit of somewhat of a renovation. You still got these old players here, but whatever. As long as it translates to success, I am cool with it, because at some point, all teams have to eventually move on from the olders to the newers. That's just how it goes. But anyway, let's jump into it, man. Before we get to the roster projection, let's kind of cover some of the stuff dealing with our quarterback situation here that we need to be aware of. The fact that Tyler Shough still hasn't signed his rookie deal. And this is what a cap expert had to say about it. And shout out to NOLA.com for putting it up. Saints begin training camp in under a month. Tyler Shough and his potential starting quarterback has not yet signed his rookie contract. What gives? Saints and Shough are negotiating over the guaranteed portion of the rookie's fourth-year salary. A source with the knowledge of the situation confirmed. I'm not alarmed by this at all, fam. I think eventually this will get done prior to camp start. What gives? The Saints and Shough are doing that. So it's a similar situation across the NFL. And the CBS Sports reported that 30 of the league's 32 second rounders have yet to sign. So this is quite the trend, right? Their contracts. The negotiations have slowed down in part because the Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns became the first teams this year to get fully guaranteed contracts for their second round selections, wide receiver Jaden Higgins and linebacker Carson Swessinger. Before this year, first round draft picks were the only rookies to earn fully guaranteed deals. But with that now established precedent, others, including Tyler Shough, want to see if the deals trigger a wave of teams agreeing to fully guaranteed fourth year. Or at the very least, they want to see if teams start to guarantee a higher percentage of the fourth year base salary. To understand more, the Times-Picayune spoke with NFL agent and salary cap expert J.I. Hassel about Shough's chances and whether the issue could linger into camp. And this is what the man had to say. Will the Saints fully guarantee Shough's deal? If there's one thing to know about the NFL, there are exceptions almost always for quarterbacks. That doesn't mean the Saints will automatically meet Tyler's asking price, but Hassel noted that the team tend to get innovative on these sort of issues when the most important position is involved. Take Tennessee Titan quarterback Will Levis, for instance. He was drafted 33rd overall in 2023. Levis receiving additional guarantees in the form of roster bonuses for the second, third, and fourth year of his rookie contract. That was a different structure from how the Titans operated in 2022 with second-round pick Roger McCreary, whose guarantees were limited to the first 3 years of his base salary and a tiny portion of this fourth-year salary and his signing bonus. The great thing about the Saints is the assistant general manager and cap guru Kai Harley, if you looked at the deals he's done since he's been there, has shown a willingness to be creative, Hassel said. He and Loomis have shown a certain level of creativity, creativeness. You're going to need that creativity to find middle ground that's win-win for both the club and the agent. Hassel suggested that the middle ground could entail having the fourth year of Shough's contract, or the fourth year of Shough's contract, be guaranteed for injury only, or be triggering the guarantee in terms of the roster bonus that would be similar to how the Saints guaranteed portions of Carr's 4-year, $150 million contract in 2023. That would allow Tyler Shough's camp to claim that he got, quote, a fully guaranteed contract, end quote, while not actually making it fully guaranteed, Hassel said. Complicating matters is also the NFL's rookie wage scale. The scale determines the player's specific salary based on when they were drafted, adjusted for the growth of the salary cap each year. So because the salary is non-negotiable, teams and agents typically clash over smaller deals, such as when bonuses are to be paid and how much the contract is guaranteed, right? All right. Also, Shough was the 40th overall pick, and historically, that doesn't do the quarterback any favors. Last year's 40th selection, Philadelphia Eagles cornerback Cooper DeJean had only the first 2 years of his base salary fully guaranteed and gained a partial guaranteed in the third year. New Orleans edge rusher Isaiah Foskey, the slow man, picked not the snowman, but the slow man, picked 40th in the 2023 draft, received 3 years guaranteed, but not his fourth. For what? What is he doing? I guess that's not totally on him, right? Now, how do the Saints approach second-round picks when trying to determine whether the Saints will guarantee all of Shough's deal? It's important to examine their history of second-round contracts. Since 2012, the first year that the league's rookie scale went into effect, the Saints have drafted 10 other players in round 2. The first 8 only received guaranteed salaries for the first 2 years of a 4-year contract. But the dynamic shifted over the last 2 years. Foskey's contract was the first time the Saints guaranteed an entire third year of a base salary for a non-first round rookie scale contract. And last year, the Saints even went so far as to guarantee a small portion, $168,000 of Kool-Aid McKinstry's fourth year base salary. What changed? Blame it on the Texans, Hassel joked. The Texans. Hassel pointed out back in 2022, Houston guaranteed safety Jalen Petre's third-year base salary, which agents then use as a precedent for players in similar range. Petre was the 5th pick in the second round that year, which was 37th overall. He says a trickle-down effect, which works as the same sports agency that represents Foskey. This isn't just unique to the Saints. It's really a function of what are the teams ahead of us and whether they've done. The impact of Jalen Petre deal helped all the second-round picks the following year get that third-year guarantee. This the trickle-down effect. So the Texans set a new standard. When will it be time to worry about Tyler Shough holding out? The president can ultimately facilitate deals. That president, they can also slow down negotiations as the two sides go back and forth over whether the terms actually apply. Foskey and the Saints, for instance, didn't announce a completed deal until July the 19th, days before the start of training camp. And the year before that, Alontae Taylor also waited until July the 19th to sign his deal. History suggests that the Saints and Shough will figure something out before camp, which players must report to by July the 22nd. If they don't, Hassel said, it would be common for a player in a similar situation to simply hold out, though rookie holdouts have become a lot more rare since the wage scale was implemented. Shough, for his part, participated in the entire offseason program despite not having a contract. Rookies can sign waivers that allow them to practice while negotiations take place and protect the player in the event of an injury. But if the Saints want Shough to be the starting quarterback, and if the rookie wants to win a job, there's a seeming deadline for a deal to be completed. Who budgets to get it done will be fascinating to see. I don't get any bad energy out of that, fam, about the fact that whether or not, this deal can get done. Shout out to Robert Bro, man. Shout out for you. Thank you for the super chat, my brother. Thank you for that, man. Thumbs up to you, my friend. Appreciate the Cash App. I'm sorry, the Cash App. Much love to you, my friend. Appreciate the 10 bones, man. Much love to you, fam. Appreciate you. So how do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about the Tyler Shough? Are you kind of a little nervous about it? Me personally, this is the thing I think about Tyler. I think Tyler, I think he'll be there, because, hey, man, listen, you got Spencer Rattler, right? I'm telling you straight up, Spencer Rattler is on his heels, man. Some people got Spencer ahead of Tyler. They got him a little ahead. Me personally, I think he's a little ahead of Tyler. So if Tyler wants to compete, he don't want to give Spencer Rattler any more time than what he need. You understand? If he holding out for rookie money, dude, I understand you getting your money right, but you don't want to give any more time than what you need to give to Spencer Rattler, sir. You don't want he's saying, man, we got to get this done. And I think so, man. And the article was really smart. Shout out to Times-Picayune for putting that together, because it kind of laid a behavior pattern, right, for the New Orleans Saints and how the rookies do. We've seen that date being, even though, the camp started July the 22nd, we seeing that date at July the 19th, which is pretty much what the last two guys did. So that was a good bit of information right there. To understand what's going on there. So ultimately, it's going to be cool to see what happens there. But I think Tyler is going to make it into camp and do his thing, man. It's just to be honest with you. All right, let's here goes some more Tyler news for you guys. As Tyler already has shocked the Saints legend. All right, who is he shocking on? Okay, Saints have an exciting young quarterback in their hands, of Tyler Shough, who's taken in the second round, picked 40th overall. He went to Archie Manning's, he kind of, did his thing. Him and Archie Manning kind of connected at the hip, being that the Saints took Archie, high in the draft back in the 70s. And Tyler's the first quarterback since Archie Manning, right, to be taken that high. So he's impressed with the young quarterback and shared that he's the first college quarterback to come back and help out at the Manning Passing Academy after turning pro. So that's a positive. Most players have gone back home now with this month off, and he said he's staying right here. I said, I want to come back. He want to come and work with the camp. I've never had one of our college quarterbacks when he turns pro to say, I'll come back and want to work with the camp. That's what Manning said to Doug Mouton from WWL. And this guy is doing everything right so far. Tyler said all the right things and is battling for the job. One thing is important to note is that Saints quarterback hasn't signed a deal. We already talked about that. And he is staying close, to the New Orleans Saints, and he should. If this is, conceivably going to be Tyler's team, Tyler is going to have to really stay close because Mr. Spencer Rattler is nearby, sir. But anyway, let's keep it moving, man. Let's get into the predicting of the roster. Shout out to the WhoDatDaily.com. Y'all check out the WhoDatDaily.com. That's the site, man, for all our content and more. Much love. What's up, Low? Shout out to my brother, Big Low. All right. And once again, thank you, brother Rob, for that Cash App, man. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right. What's up, Chemo? Shout out to Chemo. Trey, what's up, Trey? Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you for being in this thing, y'all. Hit upon the like button. Who Dat Records? What's up, fam? Spencer, who? All right. All right. Okay, there it is. All right. Well, the line has been drawn, man, in the Who Dat Nation. It's the Spencer camp and the Tyler Shough camp. But regardless of who gets ahead, man, it's going to be a good battle between those two, man. And ultimately, in the end, man, we are the winners. Let me tell you something. It's a good battle. Two young quarterbacks, man. It's going to be really cool to see that happen. So let's get into this aspect right here of the predicting the New Orleans Saints 2025-2026 53-man roster. Is not as easy as you guys think coming up into this thing, and I'll do my very best to kind of explain it. Kind of penciled an article right here together and had to have a chart kind of to make it easier there, because in previous times I did something similar to it. But in the end, this is my call on what I think the 53-man roster can come down to in this early section. So anyway, to start off with the offense here, you can see the quarterbacks, the top quarterbacks that I picked to be here is Tyler, Spencer, and Jake Haener. And I had starter string and all this kind of stuff. I'm not saying that he's going to be the starter, but what I'm doing, I'm just labeling in terms of the 53-man roster, and then we'll ferret out all that other stuff later. But the quarterbacks, I think it'll be these three: Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener. Now, I know there's the other quarterback that's still there, and Hunter Deckers, and a lot of people believe that Hunter Deckers might unseat Jake Haener, but we'll see, man. We shall see. I know Hunter Deckers has some ability, but he's going to fight Jake Haener for that third quarterback position. Right now, I got Jake hanging on for the third job. Then, of course, going into the running backs game. This is one of the more difficult selections I had to do outside of the wide receiver position, because in my spirit, I wanted to be able to have 4 running backs. That's what I really wanted to add to the team, which would be Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller, Devin Neal, and Cam Akers. I wanted 4 running back, setup. But I just think that that won't happen, because the Saints probably going to use that depth, or going to need that depth somewhere else. So 3 running backs, AK-41, Kendre Miller, and Devin Neal are my selections. When we get down to the wide receiver room, obviously Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Brandon Cooks are there. I think the Saints keep 5 guys: Olave, Rashid, Cooks. I think the other 2 guys of Donovan Peoples-Jones and Bub Means. I think Bub Means is a guy that I've seen him in some of the training that we've seen happen. I think Bub Means is ready to take a step in that right direction. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I believe, is the X factor. Now, there's other guys out. Kevin Austin Jr. was interesting. Dante Pettis was the return option that we liked a lot. Mason Tipton had some positive things, and of course Moochie Dixon and Chris Tyree are there. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, to me, I think is a guy. Now, of course, this is before the Saints might add other players, of course, but I really didn't. I was tempted to keep an extra wide receiver here, 6 of them, but I think 5 will probably be the liking. But yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they do keep an extra wide receiver there, come to think about it. But I got 5 in this one. Donovan Peoples-Jones along with Bub Means. I think Bub Means is a guy that one of our younger wide receivers that's perhaps ready to take that next step based on how he's been working out and his temperament. What I heard him say, he looks to be the guy. Wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Austin Jr. either. I like him, but Bub Means, in my opinion, because of his draft status and his hard work, and I think he might be that next guy outside of Donovan Peoples-Jones, which he's done it at that level. He's been successful when he was with the Browns. Donovan had a 60-catch season, and it was productive with Cleveland. And he's not a guy that, you look at and kind of poo-poo. I think 6'2", 205 pounds. The man can it's going to do some good work for us. Like I said, he got 122 catches over his 6-year career. His best year was in 2022 when he played in 17 games for the Browns, and he had 61 catches, over 800 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he averaged 14 yards per catch. He's a guy that got speed with the D-ball game. He runs decent routes, and I think Donovan Peoples-Jones could really be a factor for the Saints offensive room. Going to the tight ends, Jawan Johnston, Foster Moreau, and I got Jake Stahl there, but I easily could have moved Stahl in for a guy like Matavo. I think I like Matavo a little better. And you see, and if you don't see Taysom Hill there, it's because Taysom Hill, to me, in my mind, would be IR'd because he's not going to be ready to start the season. I mean, Foster Moreau is rumored to be ready to start training camp. Taysom Hill won't be ready to much later into the season, so he would more than likely add up on the IR, on that IR status, which will free up a roster spot for the Saints to move. And Jake Stahl, why Jake Stahl? Because I kind of see Jake Stahl as the tight end fullback option the Saints might use. You see what I'm saying? They have that type of that block, that hell of a blocking tight end type dude that do all the dirty work there. I think Jake Stahl is there. Also, not be surprised to see the Saints have a fourth tight end as well, like Matavo battles it out with Dale and Hawker, one of those guys. But Matavo, man, is somebody I got my eye on, man. Big tight end that could play. He was one of the Saints' 7th round selections. Big tight end, about 6'5", 6'6", 240-something odd pounds. Soft hands, catch the ball. Can also block, red zone weapon. Did a lot of positive stuff for UCLA. Matavo could really be somebody that can step it up. And like I said, I could have easily went 4 tight ends, man, which would probably be the norm for the Saints, come to think about it. But, here I just went, I did 3. Getting to the line, very simple. Kevin Banks Jr., Trevor Penning, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Tali Fuaga. Obviously, those are the pick right there. Whether Penning starts or backs up, it's going to be Penning in there. He'll make the team. Dylan Runnitz is the guy that he'll be competing with there for that left guard position. So either one of those guys, they're going to make the team. As you see behind him, Will Clapp will be our center, barring injury. I don't think the Saints give up on Nick Saldiveri if he's healthy. They're going to continue to give him an opportunity. I see them keeping on to Landon Young and Barry Wesley, who's another veteran, the guy they added. So as you can see, I think usually from a historical standpoint, when the New Orleans Saints get hit with injuries in a certain position, what they usually do, fam, is they kind of go extra on that position. We've seen them do it at the running back position. We've seen them do it at the wide receiver position in years past. And being that the offensive line was really chewed up last year, I can see them doing it this year. Hopefully, we can be able to add some more veterans, another veteran tackle, somebody with some, a longer resume. Because the Saints have $20 million. I think I may have to look at the sport track and see, but they haven't been big spenders. They hadn't really spent a lot of money. But that's what I'm kind of looking at right there. Hopefully, I'm still kind of have concerns. I do have my concerns. My concerns are about what the Saints do on the backups. I'm still not really sold on what I see with them backups, to be quite honest with you, fam. I'm not sold on a backup offensive lineman. I do like Dylan Runnitz if he's going to be a backup. I like Will Clapp's intelligence. Nick Saldiveri is a big question mark. And Landon Young is kind of a guy that I see as, what's the word that I could say? Not serviceable, but I don't know. I don't know. Landon Young, just to me, I wouldn't trust him. Let's just put it like that. I would rather have another veteran there. To be honest, I don't trust I don't trust Landon Young. I mean, this is his 5th year. He went out from his rookie contract. The Saints ultimately brought him back. And also, to be fair, you could possibly, you might be able to switch it up where you'll see the Saints get, how can I say, you'll see the Saints offensive coordinator come in and a run game coordinator come in and change or kind of get something out of these players that the other guy couldn't get nothing out of them, to get them to play smarter and faster, give them a deeper, maybe the system fits them better. And to be honest with you, if you're a slow ass offensive lineman, you would favor a team using a lot of its run game because that don't require you chasing nobody. You just have to go and put your hands on people and just push them on up out of the way. And if you can't do that, then you don't need to be on this team. If you're not strong enough to do that, you don't need to be on this team. Sport Track has the Saints with over $23.2 million currently. So that's what Sport Track have the Saints. So if the Saints can't afford to kind of go after a name there in terms of the offensive line, like I said, I'm not very Big on that. And then, of course, we go to the defensive side of the ball. Brian Bresee, Devin Agacho, Vernon Broughton, Cam Jordan, Nate Shepard, Colin Saunders is what we got there. At the front three guys there. The linebackers, we going 3-4 this year. Chase, Demario, Pete, Curl. And then the backups, Jonah Williams, Danny Stutzman, Jalen Ford. I got Isaiah Foskey making the team, Nephi, and Jacine Davis at the linebacker position. Now, it says a lot of linebackers, but when you run in the 34 defense, you got to have some linebackers. You got to have at least 4'4" that start and maybe an extra one. And then, of course, the Saints defense, they have a bit of versatility here because a couple of the guys that he brought in, like Jonah Williams, could be used. If they need him to, he could shift to rushing, being on the defensive line if you need him there, or he can fold into a linebacker if you need him to, because we've seen him play Jonah Williams like that. Talking about Coach Staley, the defensive coordinator, before, so there's some versatility in there. Now, I got Jacine Davis. Listen, fam, keep an eye out. And I'm going to go through my keep an eye out guys. I give you 3 of them on the team to keep an eye out of. But this is the linebackers that I got. And it's just, of course, I'll do another one before we get close to the season. And I'll do another version of this with a few more changes. Then we get to the secondary. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alante Taylor, Ugo Amadi. It makes the team. Of course, Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed, then Isaac Gidham, Quincy Riley, Jonas Sanker, Jordan Howden, and JT Gray, our special teams ace. So the Saints still retain a lot of the special team aces that do really well there, namely JT Gray, Nephi Sewell. We've seen Ford have a little application there. Isaiah Foskey needs to get better there, but I don't see the Saints kind of putting Foskey out of here. That second-round status got to at least keep him on the team in his third year to see what he got going on, right? We kind of seen that happen, I think, this year when they picked DeMarco Jackson over what's his name, man? The man left. Damn it. Forgot his name, a linebacker, Anthony Orji. Anthony Orji was a guy that I was like, man, what are y'all doing? Anthony Orji was knocked down, drag out, good, young, undrafted linebacker. He was playing well on the special teams when he got an opportunity to get out and play, show some positive stuff, and completely left DeMarco Jackson in the dirt. Completely left him in the dirt. He could cover because he was a safety a big safety that converted to a linebacker. It was a natural transition. The Saints found something. They put that man in the street. That was like, what is going on here? But, and they kept DeMarco Jackson. That was kind of a head scratcher to me, but it is what it is. And of course, our special teams game. We got Blake Grupe, who I think ultimately beats out Mr. Charlie Smith, and then James Burnap, who, in my opinion, Burnap is going to beat out our punter. Mr. Matt Hayball is not his. It's not his job. It's not like his. Morstead. You see what I'm saying? He's not he's a Morstead, right? We had Morstead for years, right? He was a hell of a punter, directional punter, all this kind of stuff. Effort guy, the Hall of Fame punter. Very few. When they had the next guy, we thought he was the guy until they put him in the street. And then we've been having switching out with guys. We had the last guy that was tattooed up from Australia. He got beat out by Hayball, another Australian guy. And Burnap, who some consider the best punter in college last year, who didn't get drafted, got picked up by the Saints. This guy can directional punt. He's good at placing them within the 20. And one of the key things to Burnap's game is that he punts the ball very high to the point where this coverage teams get down there and they cover the returners. The returners can't do shit. They can't go nowhere. So that's a big part of the game. I think Burnap burns out Hayball, beats him, and takes the punter job from this year. So this is some of the guys right here, 53-man roster as well. And guys, and this is what I think. Y'all put in the comment section. Y'all tell me how y'all think about my first unofficial 53-man roster projection for the Saints. What's up? Who's that? Nola Chop. Okay, is that Kai? Shout out to Kai, man. Thank you, bro. for being a member for 5 months, man.
I want to say
Appreciate you, brother.
thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right, what's up, Ross? Shout out to my brother Ross the Boss. KT in the building says, Q, remember when I mentioned Anthony Orji to you when we covered the undrafted free agents a few? Yeah, I remember you saying it, bro. KT, you said a lot of really gave a lot of game about a lot of these players, man. That's good. But yeah, Anthony Orji was a hell of a player, man. When they put him in the street, I was like, what's that about? And I thought to myself, why the hell would you put him in the street and DeMarco Jackson hadn't done anything? I mean, y'all, what did DeMarco Jackson do to keep a team? You know what it was? He got drafted. Anthony Orji did everything you could ask him to do, right? He did it all. He did it all. He was undrafted. That other man was drafted. That's what it came down to. That's the difference. Because DeMarco he wasn't even close, but he got drafted. And they value them guys that get drafted a little higher than the ones that don't. It's a little bit more of a guarantee. You see what I'm saying? Young Bloods, what's up, fam? Says Q, don't you think that if the Saints don't carry a fullback, they might carry 4 running backs that could open up a spot for Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Cam Akers? You could be right, bro. You could be. Or the fact that, like I said, I think the fullback guy is actually Jack Stahl. Because if you go and watch Jack Stahl's play, they brought him in. He was one of them early transitions, or one of those transactions the Saints brought in. And in my opinion, I was like, man, what's up with this guy? And then you go and look at his game. He's not very productive catching up the ball, but you go watch some of the tape that you can find on him. He's a guy that's really good at blocking. So they don't have a fullback listed, but I think Jake Stahl is that guy. He's not a fullback. He's a tight end, but he's one of those hybrid tweeners. He ain't super athletic or none of that, but he's just one of those guys that just made the block. Big tight end that knows where to block, blocks really well, can play the tight end or fullback position for you. So I'm thinking that's why I got him on the team. I'm like, man, I think that might be the dude. But I did wrestle with the fact of adding that extra running back, just like I wrestled with adding an extra tight end, 4 tight ends. You know, but that kind of thing was because of Taysom Hill. You know, you had Taysom Hill here, and then you would kind of supplement your roster by using, if you felt like you needed a spark here, you just move Taysom to the tight end room, or you use Taysom in the running back room, you use Taysom as a wide receiver. So Taysom was a person that they would use to cover up weak areas in their offense. And they did that for years because of his versatility and his difficulty of being covered. Because if you're a linebacker, you have difficulties covering Taysom Hill because he's fast. You're a linebacker. If you're a defensive back, you damn sure don't want to cover Taysom because he can run around you, or he can run over you. So, you know, they will have to do without Taysom for right now. So they're gonna have to make it work. So Juwan Johnson, he has to step up his game. Foster has to do his thing. We know Jack Stahl he's going to be a blocking tight end / fullback in that role. And then, of course, one of the young tight ends will have to make themselves present. And I'm thinking it'll probably be Maliki Mutavo, or even we seen Dylan Hawker last year in limited action. So it'll have to be one of those young tight ends unless the Saints pick up somebody before the draft starts. KT says, Q, I think Rico Payton could make the roster as a backup. I thought about that, KT, but it's getting kind of hectic when you get down to him, because you got a certain amount of people you want to keep. You're going to have Kool-Aid. You're going to have Alante. Ugo Amadi is a guy that people not really talking about. I like Rico Payton a lot, but I don't think Rico Payton beats out Quincy Riley, undrafted versus drafted, right? Isaac Gidham got a 3-year deal at $9 million, which basically guarantees that he'll be here, right? And, you know, like I said, so you got Kool-Aid, you got Isaac, you got Alante, you got Quincy Riley, you got Ugo Amadi. You know, you got those guys. So, and at safety, you got the 2 starters plus 3. You got a backup and Sanker and Howden, and then you have JT Gray, who's a special teams ace. So you know he gonna make the team. But guys like Dallas Beanham and Terrell Burgess and Jaden Price and Rejon Wright, and ultimately Rico Payton is just outside of that line, but I add him if anything else changed. But Ugo Amadi is a guy that many people overlook But all he does Ugo does is go out there and make plays. He's undersized, but he's always around the ball. He you see what I'm saying? He goes out there and make plays. They had him playing safety. Then they moved him into the nickel role, and he found a home in that nickel role. Now, if they'll put Alante there, that's another point of contention of where Alante Taylor will play. Will it be outside? Will it be inside? What's going to be the call? We've seen him do a little bit of both in camp. Where will he sit at? That'll be really big to see. But Ugo Amadi's another dude, man, that, you got to pay attention to, because they did give him a 1-year deal and bring him back. But yeah, Rico Payton, and just to me, was just outside looking at. Mad Drummer says Miller gets cut, hate to say it, or gets traded. If he's healthy, why would you cut him? Because listen, and that's a big if. Like I said, all this is just a guess, because we don't know actually what's going to go on. Things could radically change, especially if guys start getting hurt. Or if they might be players that the Saints like that they haven't signed yet, but maybe a few days before camp rolls in, they get a deal done. And then they bring this guy in, then they cut the other guy. You see what I'm saying? Things could change a bit. Guys might get hurt, so they got to add somebody here, this type of thing. So the Kendre Miller thing, to me, he fits well with what a guy like TJ Pagnetti and Kellen Moore and Coach Nussmeier are doing. He does. If it's a running game, Alvin is the complete all around focal point type guy, and then you have Kendre Miller, who is, man, listen, we forget how really good he is because of all of the injuries and the stuff that kind of stalled him out the years that he's been here. But Kendre Miller has a lot of talent. One of his greatest gifts that he has speed. He can use the stiff arm. One of the greatest things I love about Kendre Miller's game is that he has the ability to make them defenders miss and literally whiff at that first tackle attempt. I mean, he dances about the shoes, have him jumping and tackling air. Because that dude really good at that. He'll put that step on you, man, that double step, and then move. And I mean, he just awesome, man, with that. But like I said, it comes down to him remaining healthy. The man must remain healthy, and that's what Kellen Moore told Kendre Miller, is that he got an open opportunity. All is forgiven. He got a clean slate to work his magic. So like I said, see, he's been here since 2023 when he got drafted in the 3rd round. Yeah, so he's one of those guys that a lot of people kind of focus on and be like, man, Kendre Miller, this, that, and the third. But, I just want them to keep the same energy, because it ain't just Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller played more than Nick Saldiveri did, but nobody talk about Nick Saldiveri getting his ass out of here. And he was a 4th round selection, so I don't know what it is about Kendre. I think he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Maybe that changes this year. It has to. I mean, a 3rd round pick, he's had 300 something odd yards since he's been here, and a couple of touchdowns. That has to change. Kendre Miller has to remain healthy to help them out. But they're fortified. They insured themselves. If Kendre can't stay healthy, they already drafted Devin Neal, who I have. They got Cam Akers here, and there's Clyde Edwards-Helaire that's also here. So the Saints are fortifying themselves just in case injuries hit the running back room this year. So that's the call on it. So anyway, all right, let me see the rest of the fam as well. Stallbird might make it. Didn't I have Stallbird? I thought I had Stallbird on it. I think I might have missed Stallbird. Yeah, I had him out instead. I had Nephi Sewell. I thought Nephi Sewell, to me, fam, did a hell of a job at the running back room. in the linebacker room, in terms of his special teams acumen. Remember, he made a name for himself in the special teams room. He earned his way into the linebacker room, and then when given a chance, remember, it was Nephi Sewell that beat out your boy who went to, damn, why I'm drawing blanks on some of these damn players' names. Man. What's my guy that went to Philadelphia, man? Y'all know my linebacker there. I'm just drawing blanks tonight. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about. Put him in the damn chat. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, he beat him out, and then he ultimately ends up going to the Eagles. Damn it, I almost say I can see his face. There you go, Zach Bond. Thank you, bro. I don't know what I was doing. You know, when some of these players leave the Saints, I just be like, he ain't a Saint no more, and just take. I do that. Every time I call, I was like, man, damn. I forget Larry Warford that time. I'm like, man, what's your boy name? It happened every now and again. You know, even the great Saint think tank have little flubs. That's why I got y'all here to remind me. Zach Bond, that's right. Y'all remember that? Nephi Sewell made a name for himself by playing special teams. He earned his way up into the linebacker room, and he literally took time from Zach Bond when he was here. Y'all remember that? Because they had Zach Bond playing a linebacker position, and Nephi came in and started making plays. They moved Bond to a situational pass rusher and basically brought him in on pass rush situation. That was Nephi Sewell that did that. Then he broke his leg. I remember he got carted off. They're saying he's healthy now. I'm giving him a chance. I think he helps. He can play special teams along with JT. I think I made the call with Isaiah Foskey because Isaiah Foskey is still a second-round draft pick. The Saints not going to put him in the street just yet in his, third year? So some of it's political, right, like some of these players, but it is simply what it is. All right. What's up? All right, I see you. Knoxville says, Q, did you hear about that NFL collusion case? No, I did not, bro. I did not hear about that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Put a little description in the chat, fam. I might have heard about something, man. It's been a lot going on. All right, yeah, I covered this one right here. Yeah, it's a lot going on in the world. All right, yeah, the Stallbird might make the roster, special teams guy. All right, much love. All right, what's up, LaShawn, girl? Where you been at, girl? Good to see you. All right, appreciate that. Much love to LaShawn. Hope you're doing good out there in the world. All right, Knox says, Q, you heard about, I already read that already. What I'm going time looping here? All right, Q, he said, KT said, I think the undrafted rookie quarterback pushes Zoolander. It could be possible. I mean, people, Jake Hayner really hadn't done anything since he's been here, except for, I kid him, but what has Jake Hayner done since he's been here, except for show people that he's not very good? I mean, remember he had the opportunity in the game last year when Rizzy put him in there over Spencer, and he just showed that he had no pocket command. It was like, man, it was awful. That first portion of the game, the first and second periods or the quarters, it was absolutely ridiculous. It was horrible. He had zero pocket command at all. There was no confidence there. There was no leadership there. He wasn't reading anything correctly. He wasn't going through his progressions. Everything, he was slow going through everything, and then he was flushed out of the pocket. They had injuries, so he would have to process things fast and make moves and throw on the run, and it exposed his arm. He's not a very good quarterback throwing on the run, especially if you, like last year when the Saints had the injuries to the offensive line, Clint Kubiak was doing plays where he was rolling out the quarterback and you would have to make a throw on the run. And that guy didn't do well at all throwing on the run. He really didn't do it. So like I said, man, it was just like, it was awful. And like I said, Jake Hayner, all he did was show us that he's undeveloped and he's not very good. But I still see the Saints giving him an opportunity. Only way Hunter Deckers beats him is he have to completely blow him out of there and show that he's just take, when Hayner and him go head to head, his numbers he's just undeniable. But like I said, Hayner's another draft pick, what was Hayner? Like a third, what was Zoolander? What was his draft status? What was he taking? Fam, wasn't he a third round pick? Didn't we spend a third round pick on the guy? Fourth round pick. He was a fourth round pick. Pick 127. So we spent the fourth round on Jake Hayner. That's why I was like, if it's close, they'll probably go with Hayner. But Deckers know what he got to do. He has to. He could beat him. I mean, he can come in and beat. Ain't hard to do. But if it's close, I still say they go with him. All right. No, Devin Neal, he ain't here for nothing. Devin Neal is, because at some point you're going to have injuries in the running back room. You're going to have injuries in the running back room. Devin Neal is the future. I mean, you got Kendre Miller. You got Alvin Kamara is old. You know, he's, 30? What is Alvin, 30? He turned 30? Yeah, Alvin getting up there. Yeah, he turned 30. He's 29 now. Yeah, he turns 30 in July. So he'll be 30 years old coming up in July. Yeah, he'll be 30. So that means, Kendre Miller has a step of game up, but Kendre, so you got Alvin getting up there in age as a running back. Kendre Miller not being able to stay healthy over the last couple of years, that could change. We'll see. Devin Neal was drafted to be that guy. So being a third running back in the Saints rotation, you have to be ready for action, right? It ain't like being a fourth guy if they keep 4. If you're a heavy running team, you would consider 4 running backs. I love to have 4 running backs, especially if they can all do different things. There's some kind of way you could place them. You could still have 4 running backs, to be honest with you, because maybe the 4th running back would be some kind of way tied to the return game. Whoever it is, whoever the extra guy is, he has to have a function in the special teams. Could have a return man there, so that's also an application. So, I mean, they've been working with returns. We know Velus Jones Jr. and all these other guys. They might slip through. Somebody's going to slip through to be a returner outside of Rashid Shaheed. You got to have another returner, maybe a backup there to do that. So that can also give you a 4th running back there justifying his spot because of his return ability. So that could be a thing as well, which is why I was kind of wrestling with keeping Pettis on the team, which I'm like, they might keep 6 people. But I kind of added more people to the offensive line because the Saints could keep 4 guys there. They don't have to have 5. They can have 4 there. But then again, with all of the issues from last year, I'm like, man, they might just go 5. So it's just a projection. But no, Devin Neal is going to play at some point, man. He will. All right. Shout out to you. KT also throwing in there about the Zoolander. Yeah. We'll see, bro. We'll see. All right. What's up, Tasha? Shout out to Tasha. Good to see you in the building as well. Christian Boy has the size and noise. He says, as a nose tackle, also Israel couldn't make the team as a backup guard or tackle over Landon Young. We'll see where his development is, bro. He had potential. Yeah, but there are quite a few guys that you might be able to lean on. Josiah Raheem is interesting. I hadn't really heard anything, but then again, we'll see. But there are also guys like Torrey Simpkins and Easton Kilty. What could these young guys be? Could they be one guy that's impressive enough to kind of push these uncertain guys like a Landon Young? So how really ready are these backup young offensive linemen? And yeah, I don't know. I just want to. I ain't nothing wrong with having young backups, but man, I would like to have a mix of veterans in there as well, man, to kind of steady the things. Knox Villain says Florio and Pablo just dropped the bombshell piece about NFL owners colluding against fully guaranteed contracts. More money. That's something that, to be honest with you, fam, that's been the colluding thing's been happening. It's a cap on the players, no cap on the owner. They can make as much money. For me to make several millionaires, multimillionaires, and I got to be worth several billion, if not getting closer to the, several billion. And these guys that run these teams are incredibly wealthy. And their money triples. It don't double, it triples, even quadruples, because the fact that they play a high above the structure. They know how to play the game. They know how to do all this old stuff with how they know how to run this game with these tax and these subsidies. They got it all. They run the gamut on all this stuff. And like people talk about the Superdome, like us down here, I've been saying this for a long time. She just bought a skyscraper recently. Gail Benson did. And the reason they're fantastically wealthy because not just the money they bring in from these teams, but they have ways where they protect the money that they're making. They got charities which help them to kind of keep the tax umbrella. They got deals with the states in which they operate, where they don't get charged. Like she don't pay no rent on them marinas. She don't pay no rent. So if I don't pay rent, or if you have a mortgage or rent, and what is your largest expense? Think about it. What's the law? Y'all budgeted. Y'all got y'all houses budgeted. Y'all tell me. Put it in the chat. What's your largest expense that you pay every month? What is it? Some people it's their mortgage or their rent. Some say they car note. What's your largest expense? What do you put out more than any other thing per month? Huh? What you got? KT say rent. How about y'all? Y'all agreeing with that? Is it the rent? Usually it's the rent. It might be a car note. Who knows? Some people own their houses. But it's interesting. All right, yeah, brother say yeah. What's that? GC says rent. Okay, thank you, brother. 504. Cole says mortgage for sure. All right. Says okay. JP said what's up? Yeah, Knoxville says yeah, the house. Slim says the mortgage. Yeah. Willie says yeah, rent. See, yeah, indeed. Tro, what's up, Tro? Shout out to Tro. Tro say rent. Now, the reason I bring that up is because imagine if you would have the ability to do that. Black Magic says groceries. You got to be. Is it, bro? It's groceries, bro. Okay. All right. Groceries. Good grief. All right. Groceries. All right. Yeah. Because that is high too. So what I'm saying is imagine whatever your large expense is, you didn't have to pay that expense, right? You can keep that money. And you can not only just keep it, but you can keep a large portion of it because how they tax at that level, they know how to maneuver around it legally because there are loopholes set for them to operate to keep a great deal of their wealth. Because even though we got hard earners and blue collar people and white collar people that still have to go out in the workforce and go out there to a job and earn money, right? But a lot of these people don't have access to the loopholes that people like Gail and them did, where they can maneuver around and they keep a great amount of their wealth. They can keep it. So imagine having whatever your highest expense is, you get to keep and then invest into something to bring you even more back. Just imagine that. How much wealthier would you be if you had that going on for you? Then you can understand what world they live in. That's how they operate. They don't pay no rent on that dome or that arena. That's why they got the deal sealed. Like I told y'all can look this up, that the deal between the Saints and the city is the state is sealed where you can't see what was in it. The court had ordered them to break the seal right before Tom Benson settled. They were about to break the seal on it because they were fighting the lawyers. Well, you can go look this up while I'm talking. The lawyers were fighting because he had several lawyers. He sent them to try to stop them from breaking the seal so we could find out what the deal was between the Saints and the state of Louisiana. They have it sealed where you can't see it because why would you seal it? Because they got stuff going on that make your head twist. She just bought a new building. She bought a skyscraper recently. Google it. These people, that's how they do it. They operate at that level where they keep large portions of their wealth and they spend your money. They slick now. They'll say it's your team, but you can't go in that Superdome and put your feet up anytime you want, even though you pay for it. Your ass will be down in the jail for trespassing. Best believe. But this is real game. This is the economic portion of it, right? That if you don't have that right, you don't have football on the field. So, we need to get smart about that aspect of the game. But that's what's going on when you talk about colluding. Of course they collude. Now the only thing is who gonna make them pay for it? Who gonna make them pay? A lot of them get away with hell, man. They get away with hell. We don't put enough pressure on these people, man. Trust me, we don't. All right, but yeah, that don't surprise me at all, man. That we've been knowing they've been doing stuff. They'll hide information too. They did it with the concussion data for years until it finally leaked where they couldn't stop it. they knew it was coming out, so they had like a controlled demolition thing. You know, it's called damage control. They'll operate, allow it out, and then try to minimize the damage that's caused by it. Like they'll try to release it at a fast cycle, or they don't release it on certain days when they know the news cycle's slow. If it's a busy cycle, they'll throw it out during that time, hoping that it get lost among a bunch of other stuff that go on. See, they know how you think. Man, it takes some studying, man. But yeah, that don't surprise me. The colluding thing is something that they do with a lot of stuff, man. Yeah, he says, but the NFL investigated itself and found no wrongdoing. That's right. hey.
Stop the cap.
You ain't find nothing wrong, baby. Ain't nothing wrong over here.
He ain't lying.
Because that's what I'm saying, man. At the end of the day, man, that's how they play the game. We investigated ourselves. We found we not wrong. Oh, my goodness. That's a good one. All right. Well, GC says, who that Q? Jake Haynes was one. Jake Haynes was one that said he studied Drew Brees plays. He wasn't looking too close, I see. All right. Thank you, brother. Oh, yeah. Oh, Hainer, well, bro, listen, listen, man. You can study him all you want, bro. At the end of the day, man, it's another level. Drew Brees was an interesting player. He was an interesting person because his level of preparation was out of worldly. You know, he was a guy that was driven to be great. He would go to camp. He would go to the Saints facility, and he would be out there on the field by himself. He'd be the first one there. He'd be going through drills in his head. And he literally said that he would visualize an entire game of him in there. He would be out there in his imagination, throwing the football to wide receivers, looking out for this, literally calling an entire game. And in his imagination, that was his preparatory process. That was what he did to prep mentally for games. That's how Drew Brees knew him. What player have that level of dedication? They can look at Drew Brees on tape and study him all you want, but you got to go and talk to him about his level of preparation. Because for you to really be great, you can't be doing the same thing these other people are doing. Because if they're really good, you're going to get lost and they're good. If you won't be great, you got to do something that they're not doing. And you don't have to, it ain't about overworking them. It's about what process, this process, because they might have gifts that you don't have. They might be faster or stronger, this type of thing. But if you are here, and that's like with Jake Haener, if Jake Haener is not stronger than these other guys, he's not faster than these other guys. So what's his key? What's his ability, his key to beat out the Hunter Deckers or to get on the team to beat him if he's not stronger or faster or has, this type of thing? He has to outthink him. And that's what Jake Haener been doing all of his college career and his pro career when he was in college for Fresno State. He had a lot of productivity there at Fresno State, but he never was a big arm quarterback. He never was a speedster. He got by off of his wits. Now, when you get to the pros, this how you got to get this another level, because that was only good enough for the collegiate game. You got to develop this, step it up, and go to another level. And if he could do that, I don't know, man. I don't know. He got to find a way. Because a lot of them can say they want to be Drew Brees, but I don't know too many of them are willing to go through his process of how he got there. Because Drew didn't also have a big arm, and he was an undersized quarterback, but he still was able to have success at the professional level in ways where his other people that were larger than him size-wise and height and all this type of stuff and throwing the ball, all this stuff didn't even have. So, I mean, when you dedicated to something, you find it out, that's how you handle it. KT says, Q, who's your dark horse candidate to make the team? Mine is Dallas Beanham or Marcus Yarns as a returner. I like Dallas Beanham's game. Marcus Yarn, a lot of people has picked him to be a guy to keep your eye out on. To be honest with you, you got two offensive guys there. I mean, two defensive guys. Well, Yarns is a running back and Beanham is the cornerback. Me personally, bro, mine would be Justine Davis. Justine Davis is the guy that gave the money to, the undrafted guy they gave money to. I think Justine Davis is my dark horse guy. I think Justine Davis is the guy. I was watching the tape. Y'all, if y'all haven't heard of him, please look up Justine Davis. I think he's going to be special in that 3-4 defense. He is versatile. He got speed. He's a hell of a player. His name Justine Davis. That's my dark horse guy. All right. Thank you, KT. Yeah. Knox says, yeah, Q, I implore you to check that piece out. I don't like Florio, but it's a good bit of information. Yeah, I'll do that right now, bro. I'll pull it up on screen. So some of us never. I'll put it up right now, my friend. My man Knoxville and say, I implore you. Well, brother, if you're imploring me, then I got to go and do it, brother. I'm not going to look over what you say, sir. I'm going to go in and pull it on up and see what the man talking about. Y'all give me just a second. I'm going to see what I can find right here. All right, hold on. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like Mike Florio either, but when he do good work, like when he start doing some of the stuff, I got to give the man some kind of credit for what he doing, because the NFL don't like you to be talking about they dirty clothes or whatnot. You know, they dirty laundry. They don't like that much. But hold on, let me get them on the screen. Right, give me a second, fam. I'm gonna put the report together. Play the video report from Mike Florio. Let's see what he got to say about it.
Without giving you an update as it relates to the collusion case. And one of the things we're wondering is, where does it go from here? What happens next? I've been paying attention to and trying to dredge up some sort of reaction from the union, specifically the players who are in charge of the union, because they should be pissed. I'm sorry, but I'd be pissed if I was a member of the executive committee, if I was a member of the board of player representatives, that this thing was hidden for 5.5 months when it could have been a hammer against the NFL. And I'd want to know why we aren't using this against the NFL. So no developments there yet. As it relates to the league, there has been a development because, look, if these teams are colluding as it relates to players, that's not the end of it. There's other areas where they make.
I'm a firm believer they've been colluding as it relates to coaching pay. I've been paying attention to and trying to dredge up some sort of a reaction from the union, specifically the players who are in charge of the union, because they should be pissed. I'm sorry, but I'd be pissed if I was a member of the executive committee, if I was a member of the board of player representatives, that this thing was hidden for 5.5 months when it could have been a hammer against the NFL. And I'd want to know why we aren't using this against the NFL. So no developments there yet. As it relates to the league, there has been a development because, look, if these teams are colluding as it relates to players, that's not the end of it. There's other areas where they may collude. I'm a firm believer they've been colluding as it relates to coaching pay for decades.
Yes.
They've held down what coaches make. There's no salary cap. There's no salary floor. There's nothing. So they lock arms and they make sure no one goes crazy and pays a coach $40 million a year, $50 million a year, whatever it may be, because then we have to do it. And every dollar you give to a coach is one less dollar that you otherwise could use for, your super yacht or any other profit. It all eats into your margin because you split the revenue with the players 50-50 and you handle everything out of your end. So if we can hold down coaching pay, we all make more money. And I say that because I received this text message today. I'm going to paraphrase it. For years, every year, the league would share salary data for every position from head coach to general manager to area scout to dietitian to assistant athletic trainer. They'd give you the high, the low, the median, the average for each position in football. This year, when you try to get the information, the response is, we can't do that for legal reasons anymore. We're afraid we might get sued. So there's your first tangible reaction by the NFL. They haven't said anything publicly, and they probably won't. But there's your first tangible reaction. They are taking a look in the mirror at what this means and how else it could hurt them. And it shows you that this ruling did hurt them because it's forced them to change their way of doing business. Now, it did them a favor, right? Oh, because of these meddling NFLPA grievances, we now have to change the way that we share information. No, you were sharing information in a way that was conducive to antitrust violations, conducive to collusion. You shouldn't have been doing that. These are 32 separate businesses that need to decide on their own what they're going to be paying their people, coaches, GMs, everyone. So now, whether or not they're eliminating the practice or just being careful about it, but based upon my source, if this information is choked off, this is someone who would probably be able to get the information. Let me just put it that way. So NFL understanding the impact of this ruling? Will the NFLPA figure out the power it has acquired by virtue of the partial victory in the collusion grievance? Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis.
All right, so, man, listen, man. It's like I said, they've been in he hit on it in this piece. They've been doing that type of stuff for years, fam. You're absolutely right. The only people that don't have caps is the owners. The owners can make as much money as they want in the league. It's just what it is, and they definitely sit there and agree to it. It definitely, and this ain't nothing new. It's been 4 days since this stuff happened. And like I said, man, the people from a spiritual standpoint, you watch, the NFL, they stopped giving a damn about what the people think a long time ago, and they started batting down on this agreement thing. They all agreed now. They all agreed, like they was trying to stay away, and the old ownership was trying to stay out of Vegas. They didn't want you to know that they was getting money or they was tied to Vegas. These new people don't give a damn. They even own apps now. They got apps like ESPN. Some of these people got their own apps where they connected to them. Some of them doing it on the back end where they tied to it, but they're making tens of billions of dollars off betting on the game. They made it so easy to bet. They're making money there. They're making more money. These new agreements that came out, no deals. The NFL making so much money. They're making more money than they ever made before. So, yeah, they got the yacht club. Remember the dude would go to the owners meeting in their yachts? Remember they was doing that? So, yeah, they some fat cats. And they specialize in keeping more money. They got more money than they know what to do with it. So, yeah, they lock arms, like he said, and they keep and not allow the coaches and all this kind of stuff to happen. And the crazy part about it is them people most of them can't throw a football, but they in control of it. It's just very interesting, to be honest with you, man. Yeah, Knoxville says they go on to say J.C. Tretter, former Cleveland center, tried to cover this up from players like Russ, Lamar, and Kyle. They also want to put an end to families of players repping themselves. Yeah, indeed. It's a new swing of energy that's going out into the world. And we talked about this in previous years, haven't we? And I always talked about y'all about the I guess the vision or the perspective is what I'm thinking about of people nowadays. It's a shift, and that shift, if you're good at picking up trends, you can see it coming. Because if you're good at paying attention to trends is routines, routines is behavior. Behaviors are patterns. I always talk about pattern recognition. If you're really good at pattern recognition, you can see a lot of stuff. Like if you could pay attention, you can see financial collapses, you can see color revolutions, you can see all this stuff throughout history in the world if you're good at pattern recognition, because you'll recognize everything as a system of patterns. Because, if this happens, things just don't happen. It's this step, it leads to it, right? And you can see a lot of this happen. It's a sea change. Well, people realize it happened in college when the players have been fighting for years to say, hey, man, listen, we don't want to just be a team. We don't want to just be, you just give me an education and this type of thing, and then that we cool. And I can't write my name on a football and sell it for money or whatever the case and get hammered for that. Nowadays, the colleges, they got to create a system to pay the players. They won that in court. So all of the money that these universities was making, not all just off the football, but they got basketball, gymnastics, all this baseball, all this kind of stuff. They're making tens of millions of dollars off. People say, nah, you got to change that up. A lot of how the old stuff was being done back in the day, people have evoluted. They've evoluted their thinking, and they figured out what's been happening, and they started, and it's changed. So a lot of that, I give it to the Most High. A lot of that is woken the people up to what's been going on, and things are changing, and they can't do nothing about that, because all they can try to do is get ahead of it and manipulate it or co-opt it to turn where they want it to, but that's not even working no more. So they panicking their asses off because what was covered and covered up is now being come to light, and people are reacting to that. So yes, indeed. And like I said, I've always said, the people run these leagues, right? You know, the people run the leagues. I know the NFL been lost its way when they put that scum-ass Goodell on top of it. People boo that man after they've been booing that guy on the draft now for at least 5 years. He gets up there and they boo him. Don't matter what team it is, don't matter who it is, they boo him when he get up there. They boo the commit just out of habit now. They just been booing that guy for the last 5 years. Because people spiritually recognize a piece of scum when they see it. But you see the godless NFL don't do nothing about it. They don't pull a guy down and get somebody else that you can resonate with. They keep them up there because they don't care. You know, they don't care. But yeah, that don't surprise me. Nothing going on. NFL clubs urged to limit guaranteed deals, didn't collude. And this was ruled back in January, and people really starting to hear about it the last 3 or 4 weeks. So they suppressed it until they couldn't. So yeah, I see what you were saying in the report, man. It's a lot to cover, man. Y'all can feel free to go and look it up and for yourselves, because a lot of this stuff I already knew. I didn't know about this ruling, but I knew they've been doing this for a very long time. Even the report indicates that a lot of the information is redacted, where you can't even see everything. Look at this one right here. In July of 2022, Kyler Murray, signed a contract that was not fully guaranteed. Per Droney's decision in July 22 of 2022, Los Angeles Chargers owner Dan Spanos text Bidwell, who's the owner of the Cardinals, to congratulate him on signing Murray and let him know that the parameters of the contract, which are not fully guaranteed, would help Spanos' upcoming negotiations with Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. He actually texted him on that. Congratulations, that makes us save us more money. And not guaranteed. Now granted, the players are not being greedy for wanting guaranteed money. The guaranteed money is because if they get hurt, because it's a physical sport, it could, that guaranteed money can help them with their families, with their bill, all this kind of stuff. That is the if I'm going to do this hard sport, get knocked out, brain issues, all this kind of stuff, then that money is, it helps. I ain't gonna say motivate, but it's a part of the thing that I can get as much guaranteed money as I can, because, I will try to go through this 4 or 5 year agreement, but, something might happen. You might get hurt. You might not be able to do it, and if you get hurt, you can't collect on those, on the great bulk of your money. So the guaranteed money is to kind of absorb a lot of that, that issue per se, you know what I mean? So, but the NFL says, who cares? The only thing we care is about making our money. Man, this is a god-awful bunch of people, man, I tell you what. Yeah. Yeah, the NFL does it. The NBA does it too. All the professional sports got a way of handling it, man. Very interesting. Very interesting. But like I said, man, this is what goes on. And I always allude to, I tell y'all this all the time. Like, I tell you guys about the fact that they don't pay rent on these buildings. I tell you about the fact that they collect all the concessions. They collect the tickets, the concessions. They charge you 2 or 3 to 4 times worth what the merchandise is. That they order that stuff from overseas, and they making it dirt cheap and selling it to you 2 or 3, 4 times elevated. This is what they're doing. They make you pay for parking, and it's like they own the buildings. They can put their signage on the buildings that they don't own and still collect money. How you put, and I said this before, how you put signs on buildings you don't own and collect money off of it? How's that work? You don't pay rent on it, but you put, like on the facility. Oshner is sponsored it. They get all of it. Any way they can capitalize, they capitalize and stand up before you. Like, we doing you a favor. It's interesting, man. But like I said, I applaud the awareness that people are coming to. Everybody they getting wise to the games these people been playing for years. But anyway, that's what it is. But anyway, let me let your family know, man. Shout out to y'all for being in the stream. Y'all do me a service, hit the like button. That is my thoughts on the predicting of the 2025-26 53-man roster. Early projection. Of course, it's going to change as we get closer to the season, but these are some of the people that I think will make it. All right, Troll says the big push for games overseas was an indicator for more money for the NFL. Yeah, they're looking to kind of expand. I think the word on the streets, like remember they had the World League? My people back in the day, the World League was like a test league to see if they could have teams in other countries, how the flight plans would work and all this kind of stuff. They kind of tested that because they play those games over there in all these different areas because they foresee at some point a plan to test the market to see if it's a viable market there for the NFL. That's why they're having all these overseas games, because eventually they might end up putting teams over there and create like a European league that plays into the NFL. They play each other. They got it in Mexico. They put it all over the places that they won't put professional teams. And at some point, you're going to see in the near future them pivot to something like this. They've been testing this for years. They're testing the market to see if it's a viable game there. Yeah, very interesting, man. All right, so let me see somebody asked me, I think Jaden asked me about the tight end position. Yeah. All right, he said, how far do you think the Saints QB Tyler Shough will take us in his career? I think he could be very successful if you give him a running attack. Hey, man, I watched some practice film of Tyler, his temperament, that he wants to be good, right? He has a business approach. He's like the article say, he's doing and saying all the right stuff. It's going to come to a point where he'll battle with Spencer. If he wins the job, he has a talented team around him. If the Saints can keep him upright, give him a running attack. The tight end, Juwan Johnson, has to be the safety blanket to help him. The defense, I think, will be good this year. I like what Staley's doing with the 34 defense and the Saints' talent. I think they'll be good enough to slow opponents down. Our young special teams units should be good. So really, it's just running the football and protecting the quarterback, him play action, and at a 6'5" quarterback standing tall in the pocket with a strong arm, and we'll see, man. 7 years in college, and he's 26 years old in the fall. So he got to get it right away. He understands where he is, man. He understands. All right, thank you for that, bro. I'm Tyler Shough, man. If you give him like with any, but you could say that about any of these quarterbacks, can't we? Any of these starting quarterbacks, if you have a running attack, a safety blanket for the tight end, and a strong offensive line that protects him, so he can be able to develop properly, you're gonna win. Like if we running the football, keeping the turnovers down, just being smart. We don't have to be perfect, but if we running the ball effectively, we playing defense and we taking the ball away, we doing something with the turnovers when we get them, we hitting our field goals when we supposed to hit them, we gonna win some games. And the fact that, the Saints do have an underdog status right now. A lot of people put the Saints at the bottom of the NFC South right now, and they elevate other teams above the Saints, the Panthers, the Falcons, the Bucks, who've won it. The Bucks have won it, 4 times in a row? Was it 4 times in a row? That's crazy. But is it 4? Y'all remind me. Is it how many times Tampa Bay won the NFC South? Is it 4 times or 3 times? I forget. That's not a good thing anyway. But the reality is, we seen as an underdog, which is no pressure. There's no pressure on the Saints from a national standpoint to be anything relevant. So if the Saints win 6 or 7 games, 2 or 3 games better than what they won last year, to them that'll be in their perspective. But the reality is the Saints are a lot better than a 5 to 6 win team. They're not a bombed out, cratered out team. They have talent all over the place here, and if we can get a coach with leadership like Kellen, if Kellen can do that, we're gonna win some games. How many? We'll see, man. We shall see. Brother, appreciate you, Professor. Shout out to the Professor. What's up, Brother Wallace? How you doing, sir? Cap Manny, big ups to Cap Manny, man. Appreciate you for being in the stream as well. Much love. All right. Don't say that too loud, my boy. He's in the chat. Brother Wallace said this our year to go to the playoffs. All right, okay, that's what I'm talking about, brother. Let's see that. I'm ready to break that streak, that 4-year streak of not making it. All right, yes indeed. What's up, Swag fan? How you doing, fam? Appreciate you, man. All right, much love, man. Appreciate you for being here, man. Appreciate the comment. All right, so anyway, with that being said, fam, listen, I'm gonna get ready to get out on that. Listen, I appreciate y'all for joining in. Please do a service. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Sports Coma here representing the Flocking Nation and the Who Dat Nation, because we both together on this one, man. Listen, the Saints, man, the Saints, man. Coming up next month, Saints, July the 22nd, Saints open up the camp. So we got a little time, a couple of weeks for the Saints before they, about 3 weeks? Not even 3 weeks. Yeah, about a little bit over 3 weeks now, isn't it? Before we get it, July the 22nd. So, man, hey, we getting close, man. That's all I got to say, man. Is we getting close to some football, man. We're going to be back at this thing real soon, man. Starting the season in training camp, then preseason, then the regular season. Then we back to full-time football for September, October, November, December, 4 months. I think we got a game in January too, don't we? The last regular season game, I think, is to be announced. Usually that's like first week of January of the new year, something like that. So we'll see where the Saints land at, man. I'm looking to break this streak, but like I said, I'm gonna be patient with them because we got rookie head coach. And we do have young people at the quarterback position. So that requires some patience, to be honest with you. Anytime you put them young people in the game, it requires patience, a lot of patience. So anyway, with that being said, I'm out, man. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, man. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Also, give up to our sponsorship. We're gaining a lot of new sponsors, fam. We're gaining a lot of new sponsors to the Sports Coma, man. You guys need to check them out. The links in the description. Optery, shout out to Optery for joining the Sports Coma family, and insofar as that for ID protection. Optery, just to do a little online commercial for them, man. Optery is a service where, man, listen, in this data-driven world, I mean, if you got your history from if your name, and if you put your name in the computer, pull up all your history, where you lived at, all this kind of stuff, your information is out there. It's not protected. And Optery, man, I was so impressed by their service. They reached out that, man, listen, y'all check them out. There's a link in the chat, man, that gives you 20% off on a deal if you sign out, but they take all of that out of there. They take all of that, all your information that's out there, your address history, all this other stuff that you find on the line that people can find on you. It removes all of that data that's out there. It removes it. It gives you, it gives you a private feeling, not having all your information out there, all that kind of stuff, because they could do a lot with that. So Optery, man, you could try the service, look them up, man. Hit that link. It's in there. As long as we got other links too, you can check them out. Get a 20% discount. Tell them Big Q from the Sports Coma sent you, man. To get that information private, baby. Be private again. It's too much out there. Anyway, with that being said, shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I shall be back. Like, I've been taking my little breaks and chilling. Not really chilling, to be honest with you, man. Just been doing a lot of work, man. Behind the scenes, just getting things lined up. But y'all will hear about it soon. But with that being said, I'm going to see y'all on the flip side. Much love. We'll TV.
Yeah. Huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that at. Where we do that at. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that at. Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them, say who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them, say who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them, say who that?
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat too.
With Tiege Hanley's simplified skincare system. Here's how it works. Go to Tiege.com, pick your system, and get handsome. 3 simple steps. Wash, scrub, and moisturize. It's that simple.
Guys, go to Tiege.com and get started today.
To be a therapist, in my opinion, is one of the most humbling things ever.
A platform like BetterHelp is very important because it allows access to affordable mental health care.